everybody. It's now 12 minutes. Please take your seats. We're sitting seats and have to take them. Yep. Welcome. Guys, can you turn this up just the handheld mic? So welcome to Lunch and Hour Marketing. How's everybody doing? My name is Derek Merriman, CEO of Ingenix Digital Marketing. And I am up here with Stacy Collett of Dollar Bill Printing. And we're happy to be here. We got a nice crowd today. Nice crowd. Welcome. So I just have to ask, how many first-timers are here? First-timers. A lot. A lot. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, whole table. That's great. That's great. We are here every week. Mike's in England. We're here every week. Lunch and Hour Marketing. We do have a Facebook page. We have a LinkedIn. So I keep saying Lunch and Hour Marketing, LA2M. Sorry, this is LA2M. And the reason we're LA2M and not Lunch and Hour Marketing is because we want to just be bigger than just Ann Arbor, and I think we are. LA2M is a 501c3 nonprofit, so we focus on marketing education, and we're completely funded by people like you. That's why we pass the hat. So really it's free to attend LA2M. There's no membership dues or anything, but we pass the hat to cover expenses. We suggest maybe a $3 donation. We use this to fund our hard costs. We have an employee, so Mary Lou Olds up here is our employee, LA2M manager, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but then it's all volunteers. Stacey and I are volunteers, Dee Davies is a volunteer, Roger Rayle is a volunteer, Aaron O'Neill, so we all volunteer to make it happen. So if anybody wants to get more involved, you can talk to Mary Lou. We try and have programs every week, except for like holidays like Christmas and stuff where we close. And we take a couple months off in the summer. But so Stacey's going to pass the hat. Feel free to donate. Last year we gave $1,000 to Ann Arbor Public Schools to support some of their students that couldn't afford to do marketing and advertising initiatives. So this money goes to help support that. So you'll notice on the tables there are sponsor sheets. So our sponsor this month is Bud Gibson. Bud, do you want to say a few words?
Sure thing. I'm Bud Gibson. I created the Search Marketing Program at Eastern Michigan University. Last year we started putting on something called the Search Marketing Workshop. And it focuses on how to effectively market the websites. We bring together industry experts, faculty, moderators, and then students from our program. And we make a half day of it. This year is $30 if you register by Monday. And we also included a whole section on mobile marketing. As you're probably aware, devices like these, about half the people own them now. And a lot of web access is happening over mobile, so we added a whole mobile-specific track. How do we get on there? Register by Monday for $30. After Monday, it's $40. So strongly encourage you to come.
Great. Thank you, Bud. And Bud is a sponsor. You too can sponsor LA2M. It's $250 to sponsor for a month. And you get your information on our email newsletter, which goes out to over 1,700 people in Southeast Michigan. Plus you get to promote yourself at these events. So it's a pretty good deal. I don't know if you saw, but we are selling LA2M t-shirts. Okay, these are $12.50. I encourage you to buy them. Why? Because we printed a bunch, so you got to buy them. It's pretty much a cost. But then you can wear them. I mean, they make great holiday gifts, birthday gifts. So this one's for our speaker. Martin, there's your LA2M shirt for you. Thank you very much. We do get one to every speaker. So what else? Am I missing anything? Okay. So the format of this group is the speaker will talk for approximately 30 minutes or so. There may be some time for Q&A. At 12:45, we do introductions. So you will get to introduce yourself and say basically who you are, your company, and if we can help you with anything. So that goes on at 12:45. And besides that, oh yeah, you can tweet at this event. Aaron O'Neill over here from Ingenix Digital Marketing is going to be tweeting as LA2M. You can follow that hashtag, LA2M, follow the user LA2M. Feel free to tweet. If you check in on Foursquare, check in at LA2M. Is the mayor here? The mayor? The mayor is still here, okay. All right, so make sure to check in on Foursquare so you can oust Mayor Jim as the mayor. All right, so without further ado, we have a great speaker this week. Martin Smith has been a regular at LA2M, and he's a great guy. He's got the A-side Worldwide. He's a marketing strategist. and he's going to be teaching us how to turn likes into customers, which obviously is an important topic. So let's give Marty Smith a big round of applause.
Thank you. Now, what would it mean to you, your company, your job, your organization, if you were able to create 50% more online revenue using social media? Do you think that would make a big difference for you if you could do that?
Yes.
All right. I mean, well, let me step back for a second, take inventory just for a quick second. How many people in here own a business or higher up in a business that they would control? Or how many people are working at a job somewhere where you're handling social media activities? Okay. So we definitely know that if you could make 50% more income from online sales in 1 month, that would mean a lot for your business. And the reason I use the image with the guns and the money there is because we at ASI, we were able to do that for one of our clients recently this year, and it really felt like we were stealing something. So it felt like we were doing something illegal. I was like, there's no way this could be possible. But I've been focused on trying to learn as much as I can about social media for a long time, but only recently did I tie into how to drive sales and really convert people into customers using social media. We've, over the past few years, I know especially here at LA2M, there have been a lot of speakers that have come and presented incredible presentations about how to do things in social media to engage your customers. We've learned the fundamentals. We've learned about how to build community. We've learned about how to humanize communication, deliver valuable content, and make sure that you're spreading content out on a regular basis. But as marketers, I feel like we spent a lot of time learning those fundamentals, but it wasn't always tied to the bottom line of actually achieving goals. It was more so, we need to drive engagement because we need to drive engagement, and that's the way that you do Facebook right. We need to get retweets because when you're using Twitter, that's what you're supposed to do, get people to retweet you, and that's what you're supposed to do. However, a lot of the things that we've been doing have been time sinks. That's why we got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, a lot of mobile access. But we're spending a lot of time and not necessarily getting a lot of the results that we want to get. So let me ask one more question. How many people here actually feel that since they've used and started using social media, they've been able to drive a big change and bring in lots of money because of it? How many people have seen a huge difference in their businesses and just an overflow of new customers coming in because of social media? That's usually not what happens. And so as marketers, we need to unlearn a lot of the things that we've taken on so far. It's not that any of these fundamentals are wrong. It's not that we were learning the wrong way to do things. Engagement is important. Engaging your fans, humanizing your communication, and not speaking like you're some big business, but talking to people as though you're a person, that's a very important thing. But in order to actually focus our attention on sales, focus our attention on return on investment, it's important to unlearn some of the things that we've been taught. And it's usually not those fundamentals that are really causing us the problems, but it's all the things that came along with those fundamentals, the best practices and some of the methodologies that are really holding us back. Now, I put up an image here of basketball players. And the reason I use that is because I played basketball in high school and junior high and elementary school, and coaches in basketball, and I'm sure it's the same in many sports, told us you have to learn the fundamentals. You have to learn how to pass properly. This is the proper way to give a pass. When you're going to the basket, shoot properly. Make sure you shoot a layup appropriately. Don't do all of the dipsy-do dive, behind the back, showboating. That's not the proper way to do it. You want to learn the fundamentals and get the fundamentals down. And that's the way you should be doing things. But then if you turn on SportsCenter, you turn on highlights, all you see is people not doing the fundamentals. Everything they're doing is the no-look, behind the back, pass, through the legs, and those are all the things that we're doing. So as marketers, we're kind of in the same boat. We've learned the fundamentals, but then there comes a time where we have to graduate and move a little bit beyond those initial things that we've learned and learn how to use our techniques and tools and kind of push the limits a little bit. When you get to the highest level of success, you take some chances. You do some things that you were told you shouldn't do, but you do them so well that you're able to get something out of it. So, on to the next thing that we need to unlearn. Social media is really not different. A lot of times we've been told social media is different. How many people heard social media, it's just not about return on investment. It's about building relationships. It's about getting in there and communicating with people, and it's that one-to-one communication that you can have, and that's really what it's all about. Now, it's not that social media isn't about building relationships. What makes social media different is that two-way communication. You didn't have that in magazines and TV and billboards. Those are all kind of broadcast media. But what's different about social media, that two-way communication, that has nothing to do with advertising on social media. When you're advertising on social media, you should view it just like you would view a billboard, just like you view a magazine, just like you view TV. And why is that? It's because you need to spread your message out. People need to receive your message, and then they need to act on your message. That's the same thing that you would do on the TV. That's the same thing you do on billboard. And in all of those different types of media, people generally aren't there for your communication. If you're advertising to them, that's not what they're there for. You're interrupting what they're actually there to do in order to spread your message, and that's no different. It's not different. So don't let anybody tell you social media is different. You can't be focused on ROI. That's not really what it's about. Because if you're a business and you're spending time somewhere, if you're working for a business, if you're working for a nonprofit, anything, the reason you spend time there is because you want to be more efficient. If you're not getting anything out of it, if it's not benefiting you, then you shouldn't be spending time there. Point blank. So if somebody tells you different, just run. Especially if it's a marketer, run as fast as you can the other way. In 2012, do not believe social media is different. So moving on to another thing, and I keep finding myself having to backtrack because I put engagement here on the screen. It's not that we need to unlearn engagement. It's very important to engage people, to get people's attention, to get them to react and respond to what you're putting out there. But the problem is when engagement is your sole purpose for being involved in social media. Lots of times, if you ask people, why did you start a Facebook profile? It's going to be, well, everybody's on Facebook. We got to do it. I'll be missing out if I didn't have a Facebook profile. Why did you get involved on Twitter? Well, I saw everybody tweeting. Our competitors have Twitter accounts. So that's why we got on board. When you enter with that mindset, you find yourself having engagement as your primary goal. You want to have new fans. You want to see how many new likes can you have, how many new followers can you have, how many likes can you get when you put a post out there. And when engagement metrics are your reason for being on Facebook, you're never going to be able to convert those likes into customers because it's not really about driving likes. It's about driving the new fans who join your page to be people that will soon purchase your products, do business with you, volunteer for your organization, and that's what's important. Another thing that we need to unlearn is our unhealthy attachment to best practices and statistics. Once again, there's nothing wrong with best practices. A lot of them are best practices because they've worked for many different people, and many of them may work for you. But when you find yourself so attached to the next best practice that you read on Mashable or whatever email or social media site that was out there without actually looking deeper into it and saying, will this work for me? Does this make sense for me? Then you're tied to something that's pushing you away from driving sales. Now, statistics are the same way, and I get so passionate about it that I actually almost get upset when I see statistics that are bad statistics. So for this next slide, we're going to look at a statistic, and it's pretty good. So 53% of Americans 12 years or older who follow brands in social media are more loyal to those brands. That's a great statistic. We can draw a lot from that statistic, right? I mean, isn't that great? 53% of Americans who follow brands are more loyal to those brands. That's the most Captain Obvious statistic I've ever heard in my life. It's not. It's not that it's wrong. Edison Research, I mean, they're very reputable, and I'm sure that's the right thing. They drew that from some sort of poll that they took, and it's probably very correct. However, if you think about it and just take a step back a little bit, if people follow a brand in social media, aren't they already much more likely to be loyal to that brand just because they took a step forward and said, I'm going to follow you, I like you? You know, I already am much more likely to be loyal to that brand. So this statistic, in the actual blog post that I pulled this statistic from, extrapolated it out and then said and made the argument that this is why we need to grow our Facebook profiles. Because if you have people that follow your brand, follow your company, they're going to be more loyal to you and purchase more from you over time. It's not that if people follow you, they're going to purchase more from you over time. It's the fact that if they follow you in the first place, they're already more loyal to you. So you can't draw anything from this statistic. The most important thing that you can do is test everything you hear. So anything that comes in, yes, gain some insight from it, try it out, but the very most important thing that you can do is to test it. Make sure that it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. Don't just take it at face value just because somebody else told you. All the stuff that I'm telling you here, it may not work in your business. You might be the outlier. It may not work for your company or your organization. So make sure that you test it. Then, next, I have a hard time saying this because I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I try to be fairly politically correct. But if Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, any social media platform isn't working for you, it's not the platform, it's you. You know? It's your marketing, it's your ads, it's the strategy that you've taken that's not working. When I heard GM say that they were pulling their ads, I knew that it was the agency. I'm sorry, I don't want to throw any darts at anybody, but I knew that whatever ads or whatever strategy that they put forth wasn't working because of them and the ads that they were writing or the strategy that they took. So now that we've identified many of the things that we need to unlearn, we're going to get into some of the things that you really want to hear and how can you actually convert people from social media to becoming customers. We talked earlier about Echo Valley, one of our clients, that we were able to generate a 50% growth in their online sales in 1 month. And I want to say that this was from April to May of 2012. April to May of 2011, their sales were pretty much even. When we took April to May of 2012, the sales grew by 50%. And they are a company that sells home and garden decor products to major retailers nationwide. They're in English Gardens, they're in Meijer, they're in lots of hardware supply stores. So they're a national corporation. They have lots of sales. I'm not saying the actual amount. I just wanted to say that so it's not like, okay, they went from $100 in sales to $150 in sales. It was much greater than that. I'm not massaging the statistics. This was a very large number of additional sales that they gained. But the first thing that you need to do in order to sell properly online is to identify your goals. Instead of approaching Facebook or Twitter from a standpoint of we need to grow our accounts for the sake of growing our accounts, you need to identify what do we really want to accomplish at all to even know if you should move forward into even starting a Facebook profile or starting a Twitter account or starting a YouTube page. Why do I want to do this? What do I think this is going to accomplish for me, and what do I expect to get out of it? You need to set your goals and make sure they're SMART goals. Secondly, and this might be the most important thing that you do in terms of structuring your marketing online, is selecting your target market. Make sure that you pick one target market to start. A lot of times your products, your services, you have a wide variety of people that could benefit from those things, but you want to pick one very specific target market. What customers that you have now are happiest with what you're doing? What customers are you happiest with? Who pays their bills on time? You know, who gets the most value from your services? Be as specific as possible and break that down to a specific person you can see standing in front of you. So if your best client is a 45-year-old insurance salesman who has 2 kids and lives on the west side of Ann Arbor and goes to Zingerman's for lunch and goes to Connors on Wednesday to LA2M, you know, if you can pinpoint it to that level of accuracy, then you'll be very, very much farther ahead when you try to advertise to that person in social media. Because one of the great things about Facebook ads is that they allow you to laser target who you'd like to reach. You can target people by their age range. You can target people by what associations and what groups they're in. So be as specific as possible when you're selecting your target market, and make sure that you identify a specific target market. One of the main reasons you also want to be very, very specific in starting with one target market is because if your offer does not work to that one target market who you determine to be your best customer, who you're happiest with and they're happiest with you, if whatever you're offering and selling online is not working to them, it's not going to work. You know, if you start out with everybody and it seems like it doesn't work, then you don't really know. But if you start out with your very best customer, and you already know this because you know it from offline, you know it from previous business dealings, and you take it online and you try to sell to them there and it doesn't work once you've reached that person, then you know that it's your marketing that's the culprit. Probably the biggest and best thing that I've ever come across for helping me find and reach target markets online and many other platforms for that matter is OPC. OPC stands for Other People's Customers. This is how you reach your target market. Now, it sounds funny, but it doesn't have to always be your competitor. But think about who is already in touch with the people that you're trying to reach. Rather than recreating the wheel and saying, okay, now that I know I want insurance salesmen that are 45 years old living on the west side of Ann Arbor, I need to reach out and touch all of those people and target them in all these various different kind of ways and have ads that go out to them. Is there an insurance salesmen's association? If there is, then that's who you should reach out to first. Is there a Facebook group that's already established where insurance salesmen would be the main people there? Is there a LinkedIn group? I'm sure there is, where insurance salesmen are sharing details with each other. That's where you want to start. Think about other people's customers. Figure out how you can provide value to an already existing relationship that's out there. Some people may not like insurance salesmen because salesy people, we don't like them at all. So think about if you were a small peanut butter sales company, how could you get started? What would be the easiest way to establish your brand? Think about a small mom and pop owned jelly company and go partner with them and then try to sell them your product. That's other people's customers. From a B2B standpoint, associations and organizations are great. From a B2C standpoint, think about complementary products. So you can formally interact with other people and reach out and actually create something where you talk to the person that has the other customers. But like we said, Facebook offers you the ability to laser target, and you can actually just target the fans of a page without ever even knowing or talking to the people who own or run that page. You could just say, I want to target fans of this specific page. That also does allow you to reach out. And when everybody giggled when I first said other people's customers, you can reach out and target your competitors' followers and fans. And that can be a great way for you to highlight to them what's great about your company or what's great about your business. And they won't have the slightest idea that it's going on because it's just going to show up in those ads on the side of the page. And they wouldn't know. For Echo Valley, how are we able to use this principle to drive that 50% growth? We targeted social ads 2 people that were interested in gardening. That was a no-brainer. It's easy, they're a gardening decor company. But then we also targeted gardening groups on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter especially, there's a Garden Writers Association where people just write about gardens and Better Home Gardens and all these different things. That was huge for us because that not only got us PR by reaching out to them, but then it also put us in touch with all of these other different people that were huge in the gardening industry. And so we were able to just kind of cherry pick from all of their different fans and followers and build our community very fast without it taking a lot of work on our part. Moving forward, attention, interest, desire, and action. When you want to try and sell and convert customers anywhere, but also online, you want to make sure that you get people's attention. That's the first thing that you need to do. If you can't get their attention, then you can't sell them anything. You want to make sure that they're interested in what it is that you have to offer. This is why it's so important for you to focus on your target market. Because if you know that you picked the specific person who's already interested in what you have to sell, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sell to them. Desire is important because if they don't want what you're selling, and this is the main reason people don't buy whatever it is you're trying to sell. If they don't want what you're selling, they're not going to buy it. And then you need to get them to take action. And that is clicking on a link to go and purchase something, not just clicking like, not just clicking share. It's actually something that's tied to turning somebody into a customer. Make sure that you're meeting people where they are. This hurts a lot of the sales for many different businesses, and it's something that social media and online advertising, digital marketing is great for. Don't assume that everybody's ready to buy. Often when we put ads out there, when we try to sell somebody something, we are only looking for the people who are ready to buy right now. Click here right now and buy today. Facebook, this is where the relationship comes in on Facebook. You're able to develop a relationship, and even if somebody's looking to buy 2 years from now, you can start moving them along that process of pushing them down the path that they need to go on to have attention, interest, desire, and action so that they finally purchase something from you. This is where Facebook Insights come in. Now, often people look at total likes, friends and fans, people talking about this, and make that their success drivers. But really, your success drivers need to be that attention, interest, desire, and action. You need to focus on what path do I need to take people through. Think about it outside of Facebook. What path do I need to take people through to get them to purchase my product? They start here being a prospect, and then after a few different things happen, soon they become an actual client. They become a customer. They become a loyal customer. So attention, you can use post likes and engagement rate to measure if you're getting people's attention, but it should be a secondary indicator of that. Interest, you can use people talking about you and post shares to say, okay, are people actually interested in what it is that I'm trying to push out there? For desire, you're looking at comments and participation. Are people commenting? Are they participating in the post that I'm putting out there? Then that must mean that they desire and they actually have some interest in liking about what it is I'm trying to sell. From an action perspective, you're thinking about clicking links and watching videos. So we talked about the secondary indicators, but the primary indicators are what are really most important. Leads, sign-ups, website click-throughs, sales generated. These are the type of primary indicators that you want to have if you're focused on turning Facebook fans, Twitter followers into customers. Because these are things that actually will turn into sales at the end of the day. And it could vary for whatever your business is. Think about your goal. If you were to reach your goal, you have more people doing X. That's the indicator that you want to set up. So if it's more people purchasing things, first you have to get leads, right? And then once you have those leads, you need to put a link out there and say, if you're selling online, this is, you need to put a link out there that somebody has to click through and purchase something. So then that becomes a sale generated. For sign-ups, if you're a nonprofit, if you're many different organizations and you just want to get people involved in something, and you want to measure sign-ups, how many people signed up? So I'm not going to labor that point too much, But we'll move forward, and here is an actual landing page that we created for the client, Echo Valley. And here are a couple of the ads that we placed and drove traffic from Facebook to this specific landing page. Now, one of the most important things that I want to point out about this landing page is, you probably can't see it, but this picture here at the top is of a free item that we decided to give away. It's a pop sticker. It's a very small globe that glows in the dark that you stick in your pot, and it goes in the plant, right? And so those are for sale on the Echo Valley website, 3 for $8. So it's a very inexpensive item. Of course, this is a wholesaler. They got it for pretty cheap. But we gave those away to people who signed up in the email list. The important part is that we did not put that in the ad. If we put in the ad, sign up today for your free pot sticker, you get a ton of people just clicking on that ad because they want something for free, not because they want to buy things from you. We said this was from April to May. We were focused on Mother's Day. So the ad said, Echo Valley has great gift ideas for your mom's garden. Everybody who clicked through that ad, and there was not even a call to action there. We didn't say click here now to find out more. But everybody that clicked through those ads was interested in gift ideas for their mom's garden or maybe for their own garden. Now, when they got to the landing page, they saw that there was a free item, and so it was an irresistible offer. So our conversions were very, very high from the people that clicked through the ad and landed on the landing page and signed up in our email list. And so just what I want to point out here is make sure that you're not selling. If you don't have anything to do with TVs, don't do a contest on Facebook that's sign up to win a flat screen TV. You're going to get a ton of people that sign up because they want to win a TV, not because they want to become loyal customers of you and your company. Moving next, now I unveiled this before I was supposed to, but the most important social network for sales generation is email. Email fits into social networking, social media for me because of the two-way communication. You can send an email out, you can receive that instant feedback right on email. That's the same as Facebook and Twitter and various different things. And it's also the very best network, and not really network, but platform for driving sales, because you remove people from a place where you don't have any control over it, and you put them somewhere where you have complete control. You know, you have control over your subject line, which is very important. The copy that you put in your subject line, the copy that you put in your email itself is very, very important. So once we got people to sign up in that email list on the last landing page, we send out emails on a regular monthly basis highlighting new products, and this is how we were able to drive that 50% increase in sales, because we knew that people were interested in Mother's Day items. So great, we sent out an email about Mother's Day items, and we measured and looked at the analytics from this. We were able to kind of change and modify things month by month to bring things up. And I believe we actually sent 2 emails out in that month. And also, one other thing that I wanted to highlight about Echo Valley is that they started with 58 Facebook fans. At the top of April, they only had 58 fans. This is not something that you need to have a huge community to make work. Most people probably never even saw their Facebook page to start. They went from the ad to the landing page, they got the email, they clicked through, they purchased things on the website. So it's not so much about building the Facebook community. That's why I talked about stepping away from all of the things we've learned. You don't have to have them super engaged and posting all the time. And a lot of times when we find ourselves driven to pushing our social media stats up, we want to throw memes out all the time. We throw cute pictures of kittens and puppies because they'll get lots of likes. You know, we say jokes on our page, and there's nothing wrong with these things. They're great for driving engagement, but that's not driving sales. So I think I'm pretty much wrapping up here. And I'm sorry, I'm just so driven, I'm passionate, I get angry. I feel like I'm mad up here, but I feel like I was had the wool pulled over my eyes for so long. And then finally, I realized that the way to get to driving more sales was not by being a better person running a Twitter account or better Facebook, community manager. It was by being a better salesperson. Because all of those platforms are not different from the other platforms that we already know and sell in. And we shouldn't be looking at them differently. We should look at them in the very same way. We should create great copy. We should push people towards purchasing things, asking them to click on links that actually tell them to go and buy something, and not just try to be their friend. If they clicked like to join your fan page, or they follow you on Twitter, it's because they're interested in what you sell. If you're a business, they're interested in what you sell. If you're an organization, they're interested in what you do. So make sure that you put the effort forth to try to sell to them and test things. Find out what's working. When you find something that works, do more of that. If you find yourself doing things that drive Facebook community to be better, then that's what you'll end up with. You'll end up with a great community that when you try to sell to, you get nothing. So, man, that's about it for me today. I think I'm cashed out. I'm tired here. Thank you.
So we do have some time for questions. So if you want to raise your hand, I'll bring the microphone to you.
On this example, could you give us a feel for what the per-click ad cost and what kind of conversion rate you have?
All right, yes. The per-click ad costs for that example were all below 50 cents. They tended to be somewhere between 20 to 35 cents each. And the conversion rate, now I generally like to stop an ad if it gets less than 0.05%. We were at 0.18% conversion, so that's pretty high. That's a pretty high level of conversion. And it was because we had targeted people so specifically that were interested in what we were selling. So that target marketing was so important to figuring out who we wanted to reach out to and who we were showing the ads to in the first place. Another thing about Facebook ads, I'm sure you probably heard before. I know I heard Megan McCann was here speaking at LA2M and spoke about it, but you want to throw out as many ads when you're using pay-per-click, as many ads as you can think of coming from different places with different types of ad copy, different pictures. Start out there and find which ones are performing, kill off all the other ones, and dedicate more time into those ones that are performing and see if you can do better. Then if you find out why those are performing, try to do better than the best ads that you already have out there.
I have a question about target market. I have a question about target market. So you were promoting Mother's Day, so it sounds like the target market is going to be children, but obviously of a purchasing age. So I'm curious how you defined that market. And secondly, was that the only ad copy that you ran for the month in which you got the 50% increase? Was it all focused on Mother's Day?
It was pretty focused on Mother's Day for that month because when we started with Echo Valley, that was their main thing. They were like, mothers love our products. We want to sell to people who are purchasing for Mother's Day. But then they also knew that their products generally sell best to people that are a little bit up in age range. They weren't looking for a 20-year-old person who's not interested in garden decor products for the most part. It's usually once you want to relax from things in the outside world a little bit, you have free time, you're retired. Those are the people that really love Echo Valley products. So our age range that we targeted for the Mother's Day ads tended to be people who still may have their mothers around, but they would be up 35, 45 in age. And, you know, not old, of course, I'm up there myself, but I'm saying if the person was 18, they're not going to click on an ad to buy something, garden supplies for their parents, because it's not even entering their consciousness yet. So that was why we picked that target market. What was your second piece? Did I answer everything?
I think you answered it. It was just, was there any other ad copy angle besides the Mother's Day gift that generated the 50% increase?
I know there were various different Mother's Day ads that we ran with different ad copy, but they were all fairly similar, driving to Mother's Day. But then, as soon as we possibly could, we started a friend to fan ad, which is usually one of the best performing ads that you can run on Facebook, because once you reach somebody, you know this person is in your target market, they're likely to be friends with other people that are also in that target market. And then when people see your friend likes this brand, they're likely to click on that. You get a pretty low cost per click for those ads, and people generally become fans of the page.
I know since this topic is Facebook and you're trying to drive people to the Facebook page, my question is, what do you use to drive people to you to get to the Facebook page and get likes? Do you only use Facebook ads, or do you use other things outside to bring people to Facebook?
Really, that other people's customers is huge no matter how you look at it. And for this, we pretty much just use the Facebook ads along with current customers of Echo Valley. Prior to that, they had a page set up, but they weren't doing anything with it. It was just kind of friends and families of people that work for the company. That's why they only had 53 likes to start. But we use ads to drive that traffic, and then we also reached out to previous customers to try and push them to the Facebook page. But thinking about that other people's customers, you can go to other websites and draw traffic from there if you're able to do it. You can have other people who already have established email lists send out things. So if you think about how can I provide value to somebody who's already in touch with my target market, you can usually get them to do something just by providing value to them as a person, as well as value to their community, that they're willing to share your information just because of the value that you're providing. So that's a great way to help you to drive traffic to any, whether it's your website, your Flickr, your Twitter, your YouTube video, so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Great answer. Who else has a question?
Yeah, I have two questions. One pertains to your last slide. Was that a picture of an actual newsletter that you sent out? That's number one. And was that newsletter sent out via Facebook? Yeah, that's the one.
Right. No, this wasn't sent out via Facebook, but let me go back one more. This was the sign-up form that we asked people to sign up for on the Facebook page. So this was on a tab on Facebook.
Tab.
Right. This was a landing page that was on a tab.
And that takes you to a link?
This landing page came from, so when somebody clicked here, Echo Valley Home and Garden, they saw those ads running down the side of their page. They landed on this landing page here. When they saw that there was something free they could get, they signed up in this database, and then we sent an email out in the future, and this was the email that we sent out to those people who signed up.
Okay, so basically to the left was what was on Facebook.
Right, this was on Facebook.
Okay.
This was on the Facebook tab. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up, I went to a Facebook small business talk that was here in Michigan earlier this year, and I want to clarify something. Somebody at Facebook said that you should send your ads to timeline. Don't send them to a tab, send them to timeline. And that's the absolute worst thing that you could do. Don't ever send your ad to the timeline, because you don't know what's going to be there on the page when people click through. When you have an ad, you're basically making a promise. You're saying, if I click on this ad, or if you click on this ad, I'm going to give you more explanation. I'm going to give you what you expect to see there. Now, if you get the timeline, you don't know what's going to be there. It could be any sorts of conversations. You can pin something at the top, but you want to send them to a landing page, because it gives you the ability to specifically target to that person that you reached out to and give them exactly what they expect to see.
Okay, and that's a Facebook landing page that you made?
That's correct. Facebook landing page that, yeah, company Inside Worldwide designed and built with the embedded email. And then these links here actually took people to the brand's page. So that was actually kind of a buy now type of thing. If they clicked through and didn't decide to actually sign up in the list, then they were interested in purchasing these things because they were great Mother's Day gift ideas.
Great. All right, well, that takes us to our time limits. Let's give Martin a big round of applause. I think we all learned a lot. I think it's amazing what people learn in here. So really good information. Thanks, Martin. So now we get to go around the whole room in 15 minutes, and everyone gets to introduce themselves, which is always fun. We're going to start at the front, this time over here. And please stand up when you do it, speaking clearly into the microphone, and tell us your name, your company, and what you do, and then pass to your friend when we all go around the room.
Can I jump in just 1 second here?
Yep.
I actually brought this here. I have an email list that I'm starting myself where on a fairly regular basis I'll just be sharing tips, articles that I find that are actually insightful and will help you to sell more. So if you're interested in just receiving emails like that and